ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्दधामि। भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। My namaskars to all who are attending this class through this YouTube. Hope my voice is audible to you. If you have any problem, you can let us know. So, we are continuing this fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Here too we have seen how the chapter proceeded. Bhagavan started to tell the importance of this karma yoga. And due to Arjuna's doubt, the discussion drifted away to his divine personality. And now again he has moved on to this importance of karma yoga. This last few verses, what we saw, that he is saying, starting from him, that though he is engaged in different kinds of actions, they does not smear him, they does not taint him, meaning that their fruits does not bind him. Namam karmani limpanti, etc. So that is the message, and this is way he has to do. So speaking about the karma, that he cannot, Arjuna should not leave it, that he should go on doing action, doing his dharma, doing his kartavya. How? Evam jnatva krutam karma purvairapi mumukshabhi. As mumukshu they have done in earlier times, and therefore you also do in the similar way as it has been done in earlier times. So, and speaking of which, he says that this indeed is a very complex thing to understand, that what is action, what is inaction. So, knowing the secret of which, even it has deluded the jnani also. So, what is the secret of that karma yoga? I am going to tell you, due to which it will liberate you from the ashubha, that this transmigratory existence of this sansara, which binds a man, a soul, by its karma phala. And in that respect, in that train of thought, Bhagavan is now explaining that what is the secret of this karma yoga. So we have seen until that that you have to know karma, that is what is your kartavya. Karmano hi api bodhavyam. One is supposed to understand bodhavyam, one is supposed to understand what is karma, what is to be done, what is kartavya. Bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha. What is opposite of that? What is that contra duty? One something is your dharma and something viparita of it, which will result the opposite results. And similarly, then he brings in the another concept, that is akarmana, that is non-action, that absence of action. What is akarmana? And why this something we called as doing duty, not doing your duty, and something which is opposite of your duty, opposite of your dharma, opposite of your kartavya, etc. So this karma, this term can be understood in these various ways. So now this 18th verse of this 4th chapter. So one of the most beautiful gems of Bhagavad Gita, the highest philosophy, highest secrets have been encased in these verses. Earlier in the 2nd chapter, in the 43rd verse, I had said that karmanyeva adhikaraste karmani eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturvhu ma te sangostva akarmani. I said that is the crux of karma yoga. That is the crux of karma yoga. That you remain present in doing action, not in the past, which is the motive which propels you towards action, not being that, not being also affected by the results. Ma karma phala heturvhu. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma phaleshu kadachana, that you will not be affected by the results. But you are supposed to remain in the present, not in the past. So first come the motive, ma karma phala heturvhu, that come first, that which a hetu, a desire towards a certain objective, and you are motivated, propelled into, pushed into action. Then comes the action, and then comes the after which is followed by the result. Which is followed by the result. So you are not supposed to get affected by the result. Neither you are supposed to get motivated by a certain desire. So that is the crux of karma yoga. You live in present and doing your duty, what you are supposed to be, what is supposed to be done. Now this verse, the 18th verse, is similarly beautiful, and we can say, so that was that 43rd verse, or rather it is 43rd or 47, let me check once. It is 47th verse, not 43rd verse, I correct myself. So if that was about how to do, how this karma yoga process is to be lived with, how to do karma yoga, what should the content of the process, what is karma yoga is like while doing karma yoga. Now this 18th verse is like when somebody has achieved the perfection into that karma yoga. So what is it is this, as if the lakshana of the vijnani sthita prajna, the one person who has achieved perfection by doing karma yoga. So similarly, so this sets forth a goal for us, what is to be attained, how it is going to be, how when that karma yoga is followed, that process is perfected, what will be the state of that individual? So, this is the case. Here in the 18th verse it is cited. So, and this is the objective is set forth by Bhagwan before us, by Gita before us, that what should we aim at when we are just doing karma. So what is our aim? With what aim we should do? Because you said that goals or these results, you are not supposed to be affected. You are not motivated by certain kind of desires. You are so both are gone. What is the aim of doing karma? How I am going to judge my sadhana, my practice of karma yoga is yielding results, whether I am doing correctly or not. How it is to be tested? What is to be then if I am not with certain kind of goals, though I am undertaking action, I am not affected by the results, means after the action is done, whatever the result is, like a student takes an exam, his goal is to do best as far as possible. Suppose he had in earlier term, he has got 65% marks, so he is aiming at 70%, or at the best case scenario, suppose 75%. So, in that case, suppose with that goal in mind, he has taken to the study, he is doing study, he had written his exam paper, and what the result has come. So, they can be according to his expectation, something more than expectation and something short of expectation. But he is not affected by it. Suppose he had got really 80%, not to get excited, lose his head over it and become something very arrogant, foolish person, or not to underestimate him or become give himself into despondency, become dejected and become demoralized to do any further effort. Because karmani eva adhikaraste, your right is to action only. ये विजय घूम क्यों जाता है सब समय? Okay, sorry. Yeah, I think I just right. All right. So now, what does this verse mean to that student? That means now his right is to action. Now what action is to be taken when the results have come out? He has to analyze why his expectations, suppose in the case of mostly in the negative kind of situation when results are short of expectation. So that means he has to check two things. Where his estimates of his own efforts with respect to bearing fruits have gone wrong. Why he thought he would get 70% and in best case scenario 75%, why they were fall short of. He has not achieved 70%, it is still he is up to 67%. So why those estimates are wrong, that is one thing. Second action he has to take on, now analyzing the situation, analyzing his action course and where this has gone wrong, now what can be done to better. So, ma phaleshu kadachana, not getting affected by it. So, this is how karma yoga is to be done. So, that is the text, the narration, the import of the 47th verse. Ma karma phala hetur bhu. Now, this is a little bit complex. I had explained then. I will not take it. So, he said, do not get motivated by the desires. When something, these goals-oriented action, that is one thing, which is dharma, your kartavya, when you are supposed to do something, which you are as a student, as a housewife, as a teacher, as a something cleaning worker, as a peon in the office, etc., etc. Due to your profession or the circumstances which you are placed in, which brings a notion of duty, notion of dharma upon you, which you understand that you are supposed to do, and in that direction you take an action. But what does this mean, ma karma phala heturbu, that you do not become the even karma phala hetu? That you do not become the karma phala hetu, that simply being motivated by the desires without any discrimination, you just become consumed by that desire and loses discrimination of action. That is not going to yield the right result. That is not going to fulfill, or you are not then practicing yoga. You are not practicing yoga. You are not yukta. You are ayukta. You are detached from the ideal. That is not the perfectly balanced state of mind. That is not the karma yoga. So, examples that whenever such goals or you undertake, whenever any actions you undertake, which are not necessarily that you ought to do, they are your whims, fancies, comings out of passion, emotions, your likes, dislikes, not necessarily you are supposed to do. Nothing your circumstances brings upon you binds you to do that action. They are not such actions. But anyway, nonetheless, you are consumed by it. Karma phala hetur bhut. Karma phala hetur bhut, that person has become. That getting infatuated by the certain kind of a thing which he want to possess, he or she want to possess, consumed by that, he takes an action and do what is necessary. Suppose steal it, not karma yoga. So that is the 47th verse. Now what is the case here in the 18th verse? This is also a very significant verse, and it says the essence of the perfection attained. What does it say? This 18th verse says, Karmani akarma yah pashyad. Yah means whosoever. Yah pashyad, sees. What? Akarma, that inaction. Absence of action. In what? Action. So what is being said? What is the meaning? The one who sees absence of action in action. Akarma karmani pashyat. So what is about it? Not only that, akarmani cha karmayah, that he sees action in action. So who? Contradictory, isn't it? Apparently contradictory. And I have said in earlier classes that most beautiful truths, the highest, loftiest truths, they have been always placed in contradictory terms, as if suggesting that all contradicts melts there. Supposedly contradictory, diametrically opposite views comes to hold true to in that point. That's what it is. So suppose one person is saying that I am traveling to the east, one person is saying that I am traveling to the west. They are both true and they meet each other. What does it mean? They have met themselves in a square, a path which is directly traveling opposite of each other, and they meet each other, and then both are true. Both appears contradictory. One is saying that he is traveling to the west, one is saying that he is traveling to the east, and they both meet. When they both, though appear contradictory, are true, exist at a point when they meet each other. Upanishad many times uses this language. So this about the action and absence of action. The person, now the first case, when he sees inaction, akarma, in karmani, this is the seventh case, karman shabda. So karmani, the one who sees inaction in action. He sees akarma in karma. Karmani akarma yah pashyet. One who sees action in absence of action. Sorry, one who sees absence of action in action. What does it mean? So apparently, the person, he is engaged into action. Suppose physically, he is engaged into action. And what does mean? That he himself is engaged in action, and can he say that there is absence of action? That I am not doing any karma? That this is not karma. Can he say that? Yes, this is the state of a perfect yogi. And why it is so? Because there is absence of motive. There is absence of ahankara. Shankaracharya has given a very big, this bhashya is there on this particular verse. So, absence of this ego. So, the person who has attained perfection, who has become Brahmajnani, who has become Sthita Prajna, so he has completely dissolved his self. Why it can be called as inaction? Why some person is engaged in action? This perfect yogi, because it says in the second verse, Sa buddhiman manusheshu, that he is truly intelligent among all the men who has known this secret. Sa buddhiman, he is truly endowed with intellect. Sa buddhiman manusheshu, among all men. Because sa yuktaha, because he is yogi, he is yuktaha. Yukta with Atma, yukta with truth, yukta with the true self. He is not attached to the unreal self as this body-mind complex. This is the apparent self, that me, so and so, doing such and such thing. This is the apparent self, what Sri Ramakrishna is to say, kacha ami, the low self. The true self is the one which is devoid of all attributes, which body with birth brings it, with mind which minds brings it, with this collection of different attributes through his actions, their samskaras, their impressions, and their qualities, likes, dislikes, etc., etc., etc. That he is buddhiman, he is smart, or he is manda, he is not so smart. He is angry, he is happy. So what the other attributes mind brings upon? He is confused. He is clear vision. So different attributes like mind brings, different attributes body brings, like jati, I am this and so this person, I am this from this and this place, I am such and such. I am white, black, I am by race this, I am by nationality this. Because on birth, because these things are so to say decided by birth, with the parentage and everything, that baggage with the whole package comes along with it, body and mind. He is devoid of this. How can one person get devoid of these attributes? Because he do not anymore identifies himself with the body or mind, and this confusion of identity, which is called as ego, which binds this body and mind to the self, or binds that self to this body. This is called as jiva. A jiva, that consciousness, which is supposed to be nitya, shuddha, buddha, ananta, how can it come to be santa, definite, which is infinite, limited to something that I am this and I am not that. Isn't it? When we define ourselves, so definition consists of who am I and who am I not, or what something is and what something is not. That is the nature of definition. I exclusively say that I am Indian. I definitely say I am not belong to any other 200 nations, 192 nations, 195 nations. Suppose I am Hindu, I say I am Hindu, I am definitely saying I am not Muslim, Christian, this, that, so many forth. So it says that I am something and what I am many other things which I am not. This is the nature of definition. Very irritating. Let us see, it sticks like that. So, okay. So, when that person has really attained such kinds of concentration, through any means, from jnana, from vichara, or bhakti, by devotion, or by yoga, by meditation, or even through this karma yoga, by doing this unselfish work, through this karma yoga, he has attained that kind of pinpointed, that full concentration, that he has been able to dissociate himself completely with that, and he can say, like Sri Ramakrishna gave an example or a simile of a fully dried coconut. When coconut is wet, when it is not fully dried, the inside of it is stuck to its shell, and when we move it, it will not, even if it is half dried, it will not move, make sound like that. When it is fully dried, the inner kernel has completely dissociated from the outer shell, and when we move it, it rings it, it makes a sound. Khad, 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 khad. So similarly, it is the case with that Siddha Purusha from Mahatma. So though living still his prarabdha of this body is there, that body exists, but now anymore, the actions of the body or whatever the fruits remaining, he has dissociated. That this is the only moksha. This is the only moksha. There is no other moksha. Yeah, you do this and do that and you become free. There is no. This is the true moksha. This is the only moksha. Iha eva. In this life, in this body, on this earth, there is no moksha prescribed in our scriptures, in our Sanatana Dharma Hindu tradition. That you go somewhere, you go to heaven and something. That is Swarga, that is not moksha. Our Gita says, even now you go to Swarga, after some time you are bound to come to earth. You are bound to come to earth. So that is not moksha, that is not true liberation. The true liberation is this, that becoming that dried coconut, the kernel of the dried coconut. Though that body exists, now he is no more affected by the fruits, remaining fruits, which are bound his ways, his earlier self, or whatsoever action. Now it belongs to the action. Now his self is dissociated. When this period of this prarabdha of this body, this particular body born on such and set, is over, that body is dropped, and it no more, that person, that jiva no more takes birth. Why? Because self has dissociated. Self has dissociated. That is Jivan Mukta Avastha, that is Jivan Mukta Purush. Now, this is the nature, this is the fit This is the feature. This is how he sees karmani akarmaya pashyet. That though engaged in physical action now, because he has completely dissociated, its fruit does not belong to him. Or rather, we cannot say even him, because he is Atman. You cannot find gender in it. Though grammatically speaking, we say Sa Atma, that is Purusha, in the sense of masculine gender. So, akarma, because what is the nature of inaction? Inaction means when you do not do something, you do not get the result. You are hungry, you are supposed to eat, you do not eat, how is hunger is going to be quenched? You eat and then only it is going to be quenched. So nature of inaction is not bearing fruits. You do not do particular action. What that particular action, the fruits were supposed to be borne by those actions, they will not be borne. That is the nature of inaction. And why in this case, though doing action, that is called as inaction? Because these fruits, though born, only belongs to body now. Because self had dissociated. Karmani akarmaya pashyet. Completely, he is established into the truth that Atman. Yastu atmaratireva syat atmatruptascha manava. This verse came in the 3rd chapter. Srimad Bhagwan Krishna said, to such person alone, there is no action or dharma or kartavya is prescribed. They are not bound by any laws. It came in the 3rd chapter, 17th verse. Yastu atmaratireva syat atmatruptascha manavaha atmani evacha santushta. That person has become identified with the self. And just for the sake of existence, what is supposed to be done, they are doing. Seeing the life, that's why we meditate, we read again and again the words and life of Ishvara Avatara, Jivan Mukta Mahapurusha. This is the meaning when in the beginning of this 4th chapter, Bhagwan said, he said, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vyasti tatvata. The person who knows my life and my action in this way, what happens? Tyaktva deham punarjanma na yeti mameti sorjuna. He reaches to me. He does not take further more birth. What is the meaning? That it paves the way for his liberation. The one, that's why we read and meditate, contemplate again and again the life and words of the great soul, Mahapurusha, Jivan Mukta Mahapurusha, Ishvara Avatara. So, their life are the continuous exposition of this theorem, Karmani akarmaya pashyet. So, this is understandable. That person is doing action and he is completely detached from it. Absolutely contained, situated, submerged within himself, in the true self. In that person only, with the respect of such person, with the respect of actions of such persons only, this will hold toto true. Karmani akarmaya pashyet. So, though engaged in various action, what situation may demand, he might be begging for food, going from house to house. Somebody might be revering him like a saint, and somebody might be cursing him like a most undesirable person. Not affected by it. Continuously living within that self, submerged within the bliss of self. Atma truptascha. And that person, not affected by those results of his action. Or maybe when somebody is coming for any spiritual instruction, when somebody needs his help, or whatever small work he might be doing, might be feeding a cow, might be treating on a wounded animal, might be helping some other person. He is no more with any agenda that somebody will write his biography or take his pictures or write his nameplate. Completely Ma karma phala heturbhu. He is not consumed by those desires to attain the fruits of those actions. Ma karma phala heturbhu. And just as life brings upon him what is supposed, he might be a monk, he might be householder, wife, children, family, and everyone. That person, a family person, he can attend such. There have been such instances. When we see those, read the life of such saint, Santa Tukaram, that movie is there, if we see. Everybody of us want spiritual progress. What sacrifice is asked is terrible. Really, when a person comes to understand this, to give up the world, if you want spirit, you cannot have both in your two different hands. You cannot have your 2 feet in 2 different boats. And then you will find you have come to the right understanding, you have to come to the right crossroads, and you have to choose one to give up the world. It is not like giving up the world means you have to go to forest or go to Ramakrishna Mutt, become a monk. No. I am not talking about that. I am not talking about that giving up the world. Giving up the world when you are not supposed to desire. Not that you fulfill your desire or not. No, you are not supposed to desire. Giving up the world. Gita is not teaching us to give up the work, because he is saying the condition, the state of the mind of that person is karmani akarmaya pashyet. He is engaged in action, and yet totally there is no agentship, there is no ahankara, there is no kartrutva. Akarmaya pashyet. Pashyet means it truly is the state of his being. It is not like that somebody's action, he sees inaction in somebody's action, because the pashyet means supposedly one should not draw that meaning. That is not the meaning. That in somebody's action, he says, there are many people act, we see politicians, bureaucrats, they promise lot of things and do nothing. Karmani akarmaya pashyet. In others, some action, you see there is actually he is doing nothing. That is not the case. That is not Bhagavad Gita is talking about. That is not Bhagavan is talking about. He is not talking about that. Inaction, absence of action in some action. Sometime back, one great, not great, I would say, one big politician, he had shown this tactics, how to handle these kinds of stuff. One Swami suggested his, somewhere he had heard, and he told me that this 4-pronged strategy of administration. First you avoid, suppose something is uncomfortable, problematic, avoid. Or bypass, that is means circumvent if it is approaching. First, do not go that way. If it is happened to come your way, bypass. And then the third was very interesting. We again and again see in this our in country, in parliamentary process, forming a committee means doing nothing. When committee is formed and it takes years and years and people lose all the steam, or whoever interested parties are not doing anything. So we are not discussing. This is not the part of the or the import here. that seeing inaction into somebody's action. It is talking about that person. Karmani akarmaya pashyet. It is the realization, it is the state of being of that great soul, the free soul. Karmani akarmaya pashyet. What is the, then there is also next clause, that akarmanija karmaya. So what does it mean? Akarmanija karmaya. So when, whether this is referring to that how he is free and still he is doing karma, whether something confusing, isn't it? No. He understands that in that now the fourth charan of that 47th verse of the second chapter, I had described until karmani ava adhikarate, that is the first charan. Second charan te ma phaleshu kadachana. Third charan is ma karma phala heturvhu. And what is the fourth charan? Ma te sanga astu akarmani. That do not get attached to inaction, akarmani. Sangaha means attachment. Do not become indolent, loathful fellow. Do as much as you can. Whatever is in your way, what you think. Because many times situation brings upon us, it a duty. There is some person, old person, along the street. He or she needs help, but you are busy and you just pass by. Yes, you have the different duty, different tasks to attend to. You could probably spare 5 minutes. You do not do. There are many such things that we ignore and pass by. Akarmani, mate sanga astu akarmani. That you do not do due to different reasons. Might be justified from your own perspective. So the person he has realized, even to that person, the teaching is do not become indolent, lazy, not doing anything. Mate sanga astu akarmani. I remember in this context how Sri Ramakrishna, his life, even though by the own this prescription of these scriptures, by the virtue of these teachings of the scriptures, the rights, the merits he enjoys, that person, the one who is liberated, that there is no karma for him, because there is no kartavya, there is nothing binding upon him that he must do. Even in that case, Sri Ramakrishna is saying to Swami Vivekananda, Are, how much I want to do, that I want to go house to house and village to village and sing and dance and spread this Harinam everywhere, spread this bhakti, spread this spirituality everywhere. But this body has become so sattvic that it is no more fit to carry out. And that's where Swami Vivekananda comes in. Even Swami Vivekananda also, he said the same about Sri Ramakrishna. In his book, that Karma Yoga chapter, he cited the Buddha as the highest ideal of this Karma Yoga. And he compared his own Guru, his own master, Sri Ramakrishna, with Buddha. That even on his deathbed, when he could not move or say even anything or turn his sides, he had no strength. If somebody is to come for any spiritual guidance, he is to immediately raise himself and talk to him. Constantly engaged in action. That these people always, so that not to become indolent, not to enjoy himself, like Sri Ramakrishna has to say, eat mangoes and wipe your mouth. They were not of that sort. Karmani akarmaya pashyet. Not doing action is also action. So therefore engage in action. It is not something to be something to be cherished. Akarmani karmaya pashyet. In the beginning of the third chapter, we have seen nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrut, that nobody, even for a second, can remain without doing karma. So karma should not be despised. One should engage as much as to his capacity to do good to others without being motivated, consumed by the desires, or being affected by the desires. Go on doing karma. That is the message of the Gita. And the person who has perfected this secret, established into this truth, he is the truly endowed buddhiman among the people. He is truly yogi because he is yukta, and he is krishna karma krut. That means he is the doer of all actions. He has perfected doing his dharma. He is doing all his dharmas. Krishna karma krut. We take break here because it's time. We have to move on. So we will meet in the next class. We will take this verse a little bit and further. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.